Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Straight Out of Context. I am Barbara Ann. I'm going to get right into this because this is what everybody is talking about. Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Ken Urker decided that they were so desperate for not only attention, but for money, that they are on a children's-based app called OMTV. Now, everybody keeps talking about how Ken kept putting two fingers on his shoulder, making a hand symbol. And that hand symbol actually can mean something when soliciting something intimate online. Among other finger or hand signals, Gypsy is over here promoting this like what she is doing is completely okay as a 34-year-old woman and now brand new mother.
Okay, so Gypsy and Ken are participating in something that's a little bit disturbing. I'm going to roll the tape for you guys and let you watch it, and then I'm going to show you exactly what it is that they're participating in, and I'll read it to you. So, roll the tape. Okay, so if you guys missed that last part, OMTV is a thing that's, I'm going to read this to you guys. OMTV is primarily used by teens for online friendships and dating. It's a social networking app that connects users randomly via video chat, much like its predecessor, Omegle. Its popularity is often attributed to its use in prank videos and content created by YouTubers, which can be a draw for younger audiences. However, it's important to note that OMTV does not verify users' ages, and there's a potential for inappropriate or harmful content and behavior. So that's my reaction to it. So you guys can make with that what you will. I don't have much of a reaction because I never really got to see much of their interaction on the website. I have no idea what they're doing on there or why they're doing it. But apparently this has become a new thing for them. Again, it's just like things are still very kid-like in the Gypsy world. And it's just a little bit scary.
I also want to share this from Truecrimejustyn because I think this is relevant, but did you know the movie Run with Sarah Paulson is loosely based on Munchausen syndrome by proxy? It came out in 2020, which was 1 year after Hulu did The Act, which was a dramatized series based on Gypsy Rose Blanchard's fake story and defense strategy, which never really happened.
So I found something interesting, and I'm going to show it to you guys, and the author of this little book I'm about to show you is a little suspicious, but I'll let you guys make your own judgments. So here it is. So this book is available on Amazon right now for $8.99 paperback. It's called Pedals and Parole, the story you weren't supposed to hear. And there's an example of a few pages you get to read. There's a few examples of the book with a little sample of what you can read at first. I think it gives you maybe the first little bit of the first chapter. Looks like it was created with ChatGPT, maybe with some added stuff in it, but it's punctuated quite perfectly. And once again, the part that at least I read, or at least I haven't, again, I'm not buying or supporting this thing. First of all, the author's name is J.H., whatever, if that's an actual initial of a real person, or if that's a initial of a nickname or some pseudonym. I'm thinking Gypsy had something to, if I had to, go on my best hunch, I'm thinking Gypsy had something to do with this, because you want to know what? It takes another big dunk at Ryan this time, and it's got a lot of satire in it, and it's just to make fun of Ryan. It's just to make him look, it's absolutely gross, but here, I'll show you some pages anyway, so buckle up. This is the book's overview. So here's what you would read on the back of the book if you were to buy it. She's out of prison and into something way weirder. That's an understatement. Fresh off her release, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is navigating freedom, fandom, and the occasional psychic attack from her emotionally unstable ex-boyfriend, Ryan. With a new boyfriend named Ken, a growing online presence, and rumors of telekinesis swirling online, Gypsy just wants a normal life. So immediately, it's going after Ryan. So I wonder who could have been behind this. Either Gypsy or someone that's doing it for her. You know her. she gets people to do things for her. Isn't that kind of how we got to know her? She got someone to do something for her, and that's how she ended up where she is today. Anyways, back to this embarrassment. Unfortunately, normal isn't on the menu. Is anything, when it comes to Gypsy, is anything normal with her? Didn't think so. One woman claims she can reunite Gypsy and Ryan for a price through late night calls, doll-led rituals, and strange energy shifts. Ryan begins sinking deeper into something Wiccan. What starts as a hope for reconnection leads to a series of increasingly bizarre events, including a trip to Flagstaff. Okay. So from Comic-Con meltdowns and cursed fast food runs to glittery seances and magical mirror curses, Petals in Parole is about quite the typo there. Nice job, nice editing. Probably should have gotten somebody to proofread this for you. Obviously, not much effort was put into this. Petals in Parole is about fame, freedom, and the fine line between closure and a restraining order. Okay. Hopefully that's Ryan getting one on Gypsy, not the other way around. Part tabloid fever dream, parts supernatural satire. This is the story you weren't supposed to hear. Yet they wrote it anyway, so let that be what it is, I guess, and take that however you want. So before I start you off with a little bit of embarrassment passage-wise from this book, let me give you just one of the very few reviews on here, and none of them are positive. Bland, boring, and clearly not worth reading. Whoever wrote this gets a thumbs down straight from the first 2 pages. The formatting is terrible. Was it even formatted, I may ask? The dialogue is terrible. I have to wonder if a 12-year-old wrote this, or was it actually Gypsy? It's clearly not written as reality. The way Ryan is portrayed might even make you think Ken himself wrote it. No, he's already through with this Ryan thing. He already threatened Gypsy. Any more messing around with Ryan, he's taking Aurora and going to Texas. At least that's the impression I'm under. My mind could change later. You never know with these people. The way Ryan is portrayed, might think Ken wrote it. Very little imagination was used by the writer. It's hard to actually be creative. The craft of writing clearly isn't something the author put any thought into. 69 pages, not a novella, certainly not a novel. More like a badly written school experiment in learning how not to write. To be perfectly honest, if you were thinking about buying this, I'd seriously say don't. I wasted a couple of notes just to find out what this could be about. If you expect real life, the only real life in it is the stupid dedication to Gypsy herself. Whoever you, please don't give up your day job. That's if you have one. An author, you certainly are not. So, yeah. It does not exactly have what I would call critical acclaim. And you know what? Judging by what I read of the first few pages, this review was actually written better than probably the entire book. I would bet money on it. But anyway, moving on. Okay, buckle up, guys. Here we go. Ryan Scott Anderson was spiraling. At first, he tried to play it cool, working late shifts, posting sad song lyrics to his Instagram stories, pretending that seeing Gypsy move on with Ken didn't bother him. It did. It bothered him like an exposed nerve, and the longer Gypsy stayed silent, the more Ryan's brain invented explanations. She's under a spell, he muttered into his half-eaten microwave lasagna one night. Something confused, and it goes on. So let's see what else this stupid thing says. This is going to probably be the last of it I'll show you, but you'll get the message, kinda. The ad came to him in a moment of despair, a grainy Facebook post wedged between videos about haunted house tours and conspiracy theories about Hollywood energy fields. The ad was simple. Reconnect with your true flame, break soul blockages, customized psychic support starting at $44.44. At the bottom, a blurry photo showed Stacy Hahn, a woman with heavy black eyeliner, a sequined shawl, and a background full of porcelain dolls arranged on a velvet something. But anyways, what this is basically saying is this book basically dunks on Ryan in a way where I guess he was seeking out some kind of love spell to put on Gypsy in order to get her to come back to him or something. I don't know if he actually did something like this. I know there's people that promote stuff like this. I know that there's people that exist that believe in this kind of thing, and I'm not getting on anyone's case on whether you believe in this medium kind of stuff or love spells. But just it's just the way the book is written. It's just to basically make Ryan look like a desperate guy that can't get over Gypsy, that he's willing to go to these bizarre lengths in order to try to get her back, even through witchcraft. I guess that's basically the narrative this is going for. So basically, this is an anti-Ryan book plus witchcraft, if I had to put it in short. So that's about it. That's all that was really available to read. There was a little bit more, but it was just a whole lot of dialogue between Ken and Gypsy doing stuff around the kitchen or something. It was just something really bland and boring, nothing worth reading. It wasn't until they got to that medium part, the part I just read, that kind of showed me where this was going. And I'm pretty sure it's just, 60, someone wasted, I don't know. Well, if you got ChatGPT to write this, they probably didn't waste much time at all. But the fact that they went through all the trouble to actually publish this and actually put it on Amazon and go through that whole ordeal is just grandstanding, just to take a stab at Ryan. When this was put out, I don't exactly know. When this was written, I have no idea. But once again, it's just like, didn't Gypsy make that apology video? Didn't she, do all this stuff saying that what I did with his medication post and all that stuff was below the belt? It's just like, what is she doing? Like, she's just making herself look worse with stupid stuff like this. Seriously. And is that supposed to be Gypsy right there in her, old jail gear? Did she write this in jail? Did someone else? I don't know. I don't have the background on this. I don't even know if anyone's ever covered this yet. I just ran into this through, I think, one other creator's, page or something like that. They had pictures of this, and it showed, basically the excerpts that I showed you. But Jesus, my God. It's just like the lengths that Gypsy's willing to go just to take some sort of immature stab at Ryan is just grandstanding. Like, why won't you just leave this man alone? It's just like, and secondly, if somebody is hurting and they're not getting over a situation and, you've caused this person harm, really, this is the way you treat them after everything you've done to this person? Like, end up with another man's baby in your stomach, within 90 days of getting out of jail while you're married? It's like, you're the adulterer and you think you're the one that can take stabs at Ryan? You have absolutely no merit or basis to do that. You have absolutely forfeited any sympathy I don't think you could have had any sympathy at all in this. There's nothing to be sympathetic towards. The guy didn't abuse you. The guy loved you. And, the guy was dumb enough, like you said, to fall in love with you. A POS like you. Well, if people didn't believe that you were a POS, maybe this book will help people believe that. Because you want to know what? That's the only thing you said that was truthful about yourself, Gypsy. So you want to know what? I agree. I am very sorry that he fell in love with a POS like you.
Well, here we go again with Gypsy, Rose, Ruby, Cinderella, Lucifer, whatever. Here she is talking to her fans from the OME app, or OME TV app. That's an app that is geared towards younger kids, teenagers, really not for adults. It's uncontrolled. Nobody's really monitoring it. But her and Ken have decided to go over there to talk to their fans. So that means Gypsy needed more room to manipulate people. She's not able to do that here on TikTok with the adults. So this to me is just really funny. Because once you start looking into the profile, you'll notice that Ken was the one who created that profile back when he lived in Texas. So Ken, Urker, sir, what were you doing on that app that was based for young children? Why were you trying to talk to underage children? And now Gypsy Rose joining the bandwagon with him. Why are you now trying to talk to underage children? I know that you love to manipulate. That's your thing. And we all know children are easily manipulated. So 1 and 1 is 2. That's clearly why you're on the app. Clearly, this is a young person that has no idea the crimes that Gypsy has committed and manipulated Nick into committing. And God knows what else she has done that we don't even know about. But here's my theory on why she's on the OME TV app with Ken. If you ever heard of the serial killers from Canada, the Barbie and Ken unalivers, well, you need to look them up because I am absolutely certain, in my opinion, that this is Gypsy's fantasy with Ken. They want to lure young girls in and hurt them in some kind of way. That is my only guess why a grown woman and a grown man would go to a website geared on teenagers to try to talk to their fans. You're not famous, Gypsy. You're infamous. You need to learn the difference. It's quite gapping, like between your legs, but oops, I didn't say that. Anyway, Gypsy, get your shit together. We all see what you're doing. You may be able to manipulate children, but now we're all aware that you're on this app and we're watching. I'm watching every move you make.
I really don't see this ending well for Gypsy. She's posting about OME TV, trying to condone and justify what she is doing. But the problem is, this is not only morally wrong, this is illegal to be talking to minor children, especially without explicit parental consent. And what happens if a parent finds out that their child has spoken to Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Just look at all of these screenshots talking about OME TV as a platform, exposure to inappropriate content, security threats, cyberbullying, lack of age verification, dangerous strangers, exposure to inappropriate content, security threats, illegal behavior, and reporting difficulties. That last one is a good explanation as to why Gypsy likes it, because she can get away with it if there's a difficult time reporting any kind of abuse on the OME TV app. Let's be 100% here. Gypsy Rose Blanchard not only lied for a defense strategy, she was able to use, abuse, and manipulate an entire legal system into slapping her on the wrist for first-degree premeditated murder of her own mother. She has violated her parole multiple times. She has been caught live on TikTok being told to lie to her parole officer and has never been violated in a year and a half. Gypsy Rose Blanchard not only thinks that she is above the law, she knows she is, because she has gotten away with everything. You think an app is going to stop her? Little Miss POS is going to keep operating, trying to make money whichever way she can other than get an actual job. After all, she is completely able-bodied, right?
This is Mike Stanfield, Gypsy Rose's attorney. Remember how I asked everyone earlier if they were so confident in Gypsy's Munchausen by proxy defense, why didn't they go to trial? I want to roll y'all a clip where he's talking about why they didn't go to trial.
We had no precedent for this. And we also weren't sure that there was even a defense that we could raise. If we went to trial and we lost, Gypsy would die in prison. She would spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Today we entered a plea in Miss Blanchard's case. So the ultimate ending of the plea was Mr. Patterson reduced the charge to murder in the second degree. And ultimately the agreement was for a 10-year sentence. I think all of us involved are it's relief. At the very beginning of this, there was the question of the death penalty on the table, and just uncovering the things that we uncovered throughout this case.
I am Gypsy's manager. I never would have imagined that I would be sitting here doing this. But when I took her case 9 years ago, I defended her criminal case. When that case was over, I've stayed in touch with her. Now she's 33 years old and has never gotten to decide.
Mike Stanfield, Gypsy Rose Blanchard's public defender for her first-degree premeditated homicide charge, is now her manager. He says she was thrust into the world without ever having any choice. She forfeited that choice when she decided to take her mother's life and not use her 8.5 years to rehabilitate herself. She also has to live with people calling her parole officer daily and internet trolls. But you know what I have to say to that? Stay off of social media. Stay offline. You are a 34-year-old woman, and nobody is forcing you to be on the internet or social media. She is a convicted killer, nothing more, nothing less. But what a lot of people don't know is that defense strategy and that plea deal that he brokered saved her life.
As part of the management role, I'm also still dealing with a lot of the parole aspects of her case. Hey, Kelsey. So we have verified all of the permissions that we need for San Francisco State this afternoon? Well, yes, I'm her manager. This is a business relationship. I do care what happens to Gypsy, and I care greatly about her future.
Fate will be decided tomorrow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they need, I don't know. I feel like they should have to need, they should have to need proof. Like, they can't just use a text. I feel like not even text message. They should have been, like, I don't know. Somebody could have got hold of your phone. Like, I don't know, something. Like, because people can use, there's like all kind of crazy phone apps and everything, girl. There's phone apps that can actually send you message that you can, okay. So there's phone apps where you can type in, like your number. Say somebody can download this app, type in your phone number, and then send a text to someone, and it'll show that it's coming from your phone, even though it's not.
Wow.
Yes, that's why I feel like there's no way they can send you back to prison on this. Like, I would even bring up that, be like, I absolutely did never, like, I would be like, I would lie. I would say absolutely didn't, and be like, there has to be a way that this text message was like falsified or whatever. I don't know. I would just fight for your life, girl, because there are ways. Yeah. That's the reason I feel like at the end of the day, like, they would have to prove it, because there are ways for people to do that. There are actual apps, girl, real apps that will show it's your phone number, even though it's not. Okay, thank God I just started this YouTube live, because I'm like on the phone with you. I'm like, just lie.
Told y'all the Munchausen by proxy defense would not have worked had they went to trial. Once they would have hired a specialist to go over Gypsy Rose's freaking medical records, and they saw that microdeletion was diagnosed in 2011, everything would have lined up. She would have went to prison and never seen the light of day. Not to mention all the evidence that would have came out had she went to trial. She definitely wouldn't have been on HBO in Lifetime then. Online sleuths may have been where the Munchausen by proxy defense actually came from, because people online, that's what they started thinking was going on. Notice Munchausen by proxy, a form of abuse that involves a parent exaggerating, inducing, or making up an illness. So they could be just exaggerating, not necessarily making the person sick. It's still considered Munchausen. After people online started speculating about the Munchausen situation, Gypsy's attorney said they were looking at all possible defenses, including Munchausen by proxy. Let's not forget, Rod knew that Gypsy had this chromosomal defect too.
They had done some tests and found out she had a chromosome disorder that was causing all of her functions from developing, her digestive system and her muscular.
Acts brand new when she takes the test a couple of months ago. Acts brand new when he's on these damn documentaries before she gets out of prison. He didn't know she had the damn microdeletion. Hello? It gassed her story up and turned her from a perpetrator to a victim. From a villain to a survivor story. Before I go, I just want to point out, Mike Stanfield said he wasn't even sure there was a defense that they could raise if they went to trial. If you don't know what that means, it means he did not think he would have been able to get a legitimate reason behind why Gypsy Rose actually unalived her mother. So they went for the plea deal. She gets a sweet plea deal, they get her out of the county jail, and when she gets released, they kick her the hell out of Missouri. The fact they kicked her out of Missouri speaks volumes, in my opinion. Because if Missouri really thought she was a victim of her mother's, do you think they would have let her stay in Missouri and welcomed her with open arms? We're so sorry that we didn't help you. We're so sorry you didn't realize what was going on. But it was none of that. They wanted her out of Missouri the moment she got out of fucking prison. To the point they called her. She was about to go to a Chiefs game and told her, hell no, you can't go. Take your ass back to Louisiana. Does that sound like a state that feels sorry for a person and what they went through? I didn't think so. Anyway, this is all my opinion, alleged, and the rest, well, he said that
And the logic behind Gypsy's crime that she committed is that she thought, and this is what she said, that she didn't want her mom to go to jail for the things she had done.
No, Gypsy Rose wanted her mother dead, and that is precisely what she wanted and what she did.
Gypsy knew that if she ran away, it would emotionally destroy her mother. So she thought, okay, well, those two options are off the table. Then I just need to get rid of her. And in her mind, she thought it was the kindest thing to do for Dee Dee, and which is why it's such a heartbreaking story, because she couldn't live a normal life with her mother in it. she couldn't find a way to do that. It's really, really sad.
Now see that the world and society know better. We now know that Gypsy Rose Blanchard spent over 4.5 years talking to different men online through multiple different tablets, PCs, laptops, cell phones, burner phones, websites, social media apps, and even used her own mother's laptop and cell phone. She had a perfectly okay time taking intimate photos, videos, and home movies in her mother's house with her mother in the room right across the hall, in their living room, and also going to a movie theater and having sex with one of those men that she had been talking to for nearly 3 years. If she was so terrified of her mother, she would not have been behaving that way. In fact, we would like to see Gypsy Rose Blanchard have an FBI-administered lie detector test. We want all the questions answered, the real questions, like what was the argument 2 days before she decided to take her mother's life truly about? Why wasn't she charged with the 2 attempted murders? And what were those 2 attempted murders about? She admits in her docuseries, The Prison Confessions of Gypsy Rose Blanchard, that she was so upset she tried to take her mom's life on June 14th of 2011 with a high-velocity BB gun. However, she doesn't tell you about the prior incident in the spring of 2011 when she tried to take her mother's life before. She also admits to Dr. Phil that she was caught walking around the house all the time, because everybody knew she could walk, including her mother, including her, that they were pretending that Gypsy couldn't walk in society for money. They also pretended to be sick to doctors, malingering, so doctors would reflect in Gypsy's medical records a true need for Social Security income and Social Security disability income checks every month.
This video is for my cousin, Gypsy Rose. If you're not Gypsy, just keep scrolling. Hey Gyp Gyp, I miss you. I hope you're doing good. I wrote the song about you and Ryan, and I hope you like it.
Two with dentures. I'm an old lady. My teeth is something that I've always been really insecure about. I think I have 16 teeth left. It's one of the small little reminders of everything that I've gone through. It would be nice to have a whole white smile someday, but I know that it's probably very expensive.
In this sneak peek of the second part of Gypsy Rose Blanchard's docu-series following her life after prison, she talks about her teeth. Gypsy says that her teeth are a constant reminder of what she went through in the past, and that because...
And did you tell your dad? I didn't, because I didn't even know his phone number.
Yeah.
My mom literally had put a block on our relationship from him and I, and she created a fake Facebook account as me talking to him. Now looking back on it, I'm like, I could have done things a lot differently, and it would have ended with my mother being in prison.
Mm-hmm.
Did she deserve prison? Yes.
So I can imagine that you still really miss your mom.
Right.
You could
It's
feel,
so complicated. Like,
it's so complicated.
It really is. There were times in prison that I would just sit on the bed. I'd play one of her favorite songs on my tablet, and I would
What was
just
one of her
cry.
favorite songs?
It was My by Rob Thomas. My mom was a huge Matchbox 20 fan. I would play some of their songs, and I'd just allow myself that time to cry and grieve. And sometimes I'd have to do it in the shower too, because crying and grieve. And sometimes I'd have to do it in the shower too, because crying in prison, you're so vulnerable. Especially women, they can be so catty. Their first go-to is, well, you killed her, so why are you crying about it? It's hard, you know, coming from that was a child in that situation, it is hard.
I can't even begin to even act like I understand what you've been through. I really have no idea. You know, it's a long road, but you're here.
I know it's like a controversial subject. I think when people want to help people that were involved in something so violent, but I do believe people should have second chances in life. And I take her entire background into consideration. It's really crazy not to.
I think you can really make such an impact on young people that might not know how to get out. I've seen people not as horrific as situations that you've been in, but I've heard amazing, triumphant stories of people that have like lived such an amazing life once they got out of their situation.
Right. What I'm left with now is, you know, I did my 8.5 years in prison, so I paid my dues to the state. Now let's see what I can do with my new life and my second chance. Can I at least get that?
And you are so strong.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I recognize that, and a lot of people do.
Thank you. I'm
Gypsy Rose says I'm nothing but skinny. She's trying her first In-N-Out burger ever, and this is how it went.
My first In-N-Out burger ever. I got a double-double.
In-N-Out style.
That's hot. I would rate a Big Mac at like probably a 3. And I would rate this probably about a 7. Okay, the fries. Still not gonna lie. McDonald's is still my favorite fries. They're a little skinny. And as you can see, I'm nothing but skinny.
I definitely agree with Gypsy. McDonald's fries, nothing can beat McDonald's fries. The fact that Gypsy references "that's hot" and then Paris Hilton, who basically invented that line, she commented "that's hot." Gypsy's becoming a girly pop. We love it. And people are also saying that Gypsy is a 2000s movie because when she went to the Erewhon grocery store, she said, "That's so fetch." She said it in like a serious way, like she was saying this smoothie is so fetch. She also references pocketbook instead of wallet. And the fact that she's like, these fries are skinny and I'm nothing but skinny. Like, what? Who is Gypsy Rose? Because I feel like since then, she has glowed up. She's wearing crop top. Her hair's done. Her nose is done. Her teeth are done. She's having girls' nights out. Transformation's just like insane. What do you guys think?
What do you think that your life would look like today if your mother were still here?
I don't think that there would have been an end in sight for me. I honestly think one of two things would have happened. Either she would have eventually got caught, but too late to save me, or I would have been killed from all of the medical malpractices, the surgeries, the medications. All of that takes a toll on a body, especially if you don't need the medications or surgeries.
If your mother were here today, what would you tell her, Gypsy?
I would tell her that I'm sorry and I forgive her. She was not a monster. She was just a sick woman, and she would have needed a lot of mental health care.
You have been out of prison now just for exactly 1 week, and you are married, you are reunited with your family. How has life been for you?
Life has been wonderful so far. I've been out 1 week, and I'm enjoying my new freedom, and I look forward to seeing what the future holds.
You bought your own place, ready for baby now. Well, we rent, but yeah. Or I rent, sorry.
And my understanding also is that you lived in Louisiana and then moved, and when doctors asked for your medical records, she said that they were lost in Hurricane Katrina.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think you're very brave for being here.
Thank you.
And for telling your story. I think it will help a lot of people.
Thank you.
The question, though, that I think a lot of people have, I don't have it, is this. Why didn't you try telling a family member or the police, maybe, that you weren't sick? Why resort to murder?
Well, you know, I did try to run away, and I talk about this in the documentary. I talk about the first time that I tried to run away from home. Within 4 hours, I got as far as it's outside of town. And within 4 hours, she brought me back to the home, chained me to the bed, left me there for 2 weeks. 2 weeks without a lot of food, water. I had to urinate on myself or in a bucket as she, held the chain.
Gypsy Rose, you've been out here telling these people that your mama had a power of attorney on you, girl. But you messed up and gave your medical records away to a bunch of people. The messed up thing about our past is when you're not truthful, it'll always come back to bite you. Now, when Gypsy Rose was going to get the teeth removed, her mom was going to get a guardianship. You read this, it was not granted. A social worker was involved with this too, so make sure you read it. The social worker received a phone call from clinic manager stating that the patient and patient's mom had drafted a POA, power of attorney. Social worker spoke via telephone with patient's mom and attorney, Salavita Sloan, to clarify information. Patient's attorney stated that because patient has never been deemed incapacitated, he could not move forward with seeking guardianship. Patient's attorney stated that she believes a judge will not authorize guardianship because patient's cognitive delays are not severe enough to warrant it. As such, patient's mom has drafted a POA, but Gypsy Rose plans to sign consent for herself. Yeah, Gypsy Rose signed the document to get her teeth removed. She did it herself, not her mother. Now, here's the date right here, 2013. Gypsy Rose was signing her own medical care. She was about 21 at this time. But her teeth are another symptom of the microdeletion. A couple of months ago, I looked it up. It had something to do with the enamel or something not forming right. They literally become like brittle. They're just not strong. And if she wasn't taking care of her teeth, like she said she was sucking on a bottle, she said she was freaking using a sippy cup, all that's terrible for your teeth because you're sucking it straight back and it's sitting on these teeth. Literally no different than you giving a child a bottle who has teeth and letting them fall asleep with it in their mouth. And then all these teeth end up rotting. They need fucking caps. That's Gypsy Rose. They show the POA on her documentary too. And if you look at the fine print, it says in the event that Gypsy Rose becomes incapacitated and is unable to make her own medical decisions. That's the only POA her mom had, is in the event that something happened to Gypsy and she couldn't do it herself. I'm telling you, 3 things are gonna always come out, honey. The sun, the moon, and the truth. Hey, this is all alleged, entertainment purposes only, and well, the rest, that's Gypsy's medical records telling on that.
This would be the perfect time to bring this up. In 2007, Gypsy's mother, Claudinia Dee Blanchard, signed this form: authorization to use or disclose medical information. See at the very top where it says Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Gypsy Rose Blanchard. It says the patient's date of birth as 7/27/93, 7/27/95, 7/27/92. Notice how they put Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Blanchard spelled the typical way, and Blanchard spelled with an E at the end. If this was truly a case of medical abuse or Munchausen syndrome by proxy, they would never have signed this form. Her mother would have never signed this form, literally giving the Children's Hospital and doctors authorization to get all of her medical records from Louisiana and going back 5 years. She also gives them all the alternate dates of birth and spellings for Gypsy Rose Blanchard herself. She not only prints her name, she legally signs it, also putting her address at the time. And this was done in front of a medical professional and the witness. This document right here blows the entire Munchausen syndrome by proxy defense strategy right out of the water. And had Gypsy actually went to trial, not only would that not have been a viable defense to take somebody's life, it would be very hard for her to prove self-defense, because self-defense means that you only have the right to defend your body, your person, your life, your privacy, your public space, your safety, if you are in imminent and immediate danger. The best way I describe that, especially to my own children, is you don't have the right to defend yourself if somebody is down the street yelling at you, saying derogatory things to you. If somebody is yelling at you saying, I'm going to hurt you or do something and watch what happens, and they're not actually trying to come at you and take your life, you are not in imminent and immediate danger. Therefore, you cannot take somebody's life. If somebody is actively coming at you and they're saying they're going to hurt you, but they have no viable means to actually take your life, then it's not necessarily self-defense. However, if somebody has some kind of weapon or some kind of means to actually take your life and they are actively trying to take your life, then you are in imminent and immediate danger, and you have the right to self-defense. Gypsy Rose Blanchard was kept perfectly healthy and happy for 24 years of her life, so much so that she had over 2 huge crusty totes full of pictures from that first 24 years of her life. She was not only spoiled, she was entitled, and that psychology has spilled over into who and what and how she behaves today, reaching the deepest core of who she is. And we see that reflected in her actions, words, choices, and behaviors.
It does not go without notice that my own biological mother is not here to celebrate Mother's Day.
I wonder why that could possibly be, Gypsy.
Oh, honey, I am so not threatened by you. My man wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. You're just mad because I have a Chad. And last time I checked, you don't have a man. So, looks like you're the one that's panini pressed. I gotta delete my social media because people, that one little thing where I said that I'm responsible for my co-defendant being incarcerated, I felt like 2 lives were taken that night. Somebody reported that to Missouri, saying that I'm trying to communicate with him.
But you're not.
Like I said, people have the upper hand.
Delete those videos.
That's not good enough.
Baby, that is revenue. Does he know that?
I don't care.
I know, but did you tell him that?
I don't care.
I get it. Then delete it.
If all you care about is money.
I don't. Delete it then. Just let us pull that money out at least before you do that.
That's
Baby, that's what I was saying. Tell him that. Because he's always saying, get a job.
Dee Dee Blanchard truly was Gypsy Rose's ride or die. And boy, she certainly did die for her daughter. And Gypsy Rose Elcida Blanchard is only known for the very heinous crime in which she committed. But all of the TV shows, the documentaries, the docuseries, the interviews, the books, the ebooks, the podcasts, and the reality show, those are all done based solely on the fact that Gypsy Rose Blanchard committed first-degree premeditated murder and took the life of her mother. She has continuously slandered, libeled, and defamed her mother even after her death. She has continuously defamed, slandered, and libeled Nicholas Godejohn, a man with autism and permanent mental disability, after manipulating him for nearly 3 years, making him believe that he found the love of his life and that she was so isolated and so abused by her mother that the only way out was to exhaust all these other options and then finally take her mother's life. She now calls him POS, autistic buttercup, psychopath, he's right where he belongs, and Voldemort. But nothing phases Gypsy. That's why everybody calls her Grifty. As long as she gets to be on OnlyFans and she gets the verified check mark and she gets to be on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and all of these other social media apps trying to make revenue, nothing else matters to her. And her manager couldn't even take the hint that an entire PR company dropped her and refused to work with her. Even Red Banyan, her PR agent, literally said, nope, I'm out. I'm not ride or die like your mama is. And if we want to be 100, Nicholas Godejohn is still ride or die. Not only has he been sitting on information that he has never released to the public, he still says that he will not betray Gypsy, that he still loves her despite all of the things she has done to lie about him, to slander him, defame him, libel him, and the way that she misuses the media. And now she's misusing YouTube and OMTV app. Crazy, right? Because we really need to know she's smelling Ken's farts on a boring Sunday.
Smell that? I was like, it smells like a fart.
The eggs?
Yeah. When you farted? Huh. It was.
But if you pay close enough attention and you have a good, deep intuition, you'll realize that Gypsy always tells on herself. Not only that, but she has also exposed her own lie after lie after lie after lie, and she has told us that she always knew she could walk and that her and her mom were grifting, that her mom had her sit in a wheelchair and pretended to be a paraplegic out in public. But she doesn't get to escape any kind of consequences and responsibility because between the ages of 18 and 24, she was an adult.
Gypsy Rose be slipping up and telling us some of her symptoms of that microdeletion. Y'all remember this video where she showed up at Ryan's house with the police?
Jay, can you grab my Just come ahead. Come ahead.
This is not the first time I've heard about Gypsy's hands being weak. It's freaking mentioned in her medical records. Let me show you. As you can see, there's Gypsy Rose Alcida's name. And right down here where that highlighted part is, some difficulty with fine motor skills, can write and feed herself, but uses a sippy cup because sometimes her hands give out. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So she wasn't only affected with this little piece as a kid, she is affected by it as an adult. Much like her strata business, her tongue thrusting, and now the fact her damn hands give out. So Gypsy does still have some signs of the microdeletion. As much as she would like to be like, oh, I am completely unscathed. The doctor said that she has a fairly large microdeletion at that. I thought this was interesting too. So this appointment is happening in 2013. There's the date. And the last time she saw this doctor was in 2011. So at the end of things, she was not seeing these doctors like she used to. It seems like from what I read, once they figured out the microdeletion was there, it literally answered all their questions. Yeah, I just wanted to share that with y'all. Her hands are still being affected, just like they were in, what was it, 07? Anyway, this is all alleged, entertainment purposes only. And well, Miss Rose, she said that
She's so ballsy, she got on YouTube literally with her baby not even buckled in correctly, with the bar of her car seat sitting straight up, without the whole entire 3-point harness even buckled in correctly, and inside of a moving vehicle, a Jeep that belongs to Ken Urker, without even being buckled herself. Then she had the audacity to post it to thousands of people and say, ha ha, I dare you to do something, because Mike Stanfield, my manager, acts as my buffer for my PO, so I'm not going to get a violation. Even when I do violate the law, even when she does commit child endangerment, even when she does break all traffic law in Louisiana.
It is April 17th, and Ken and I are taking Aurora to go see the Easter Bunny. Ken is not in black.
First time.
First time. Aurora is wearing a pink little dress. And I'm wearing a pink, well, it's a light dress that has pink flowers on it. So, yay!
Family's first Easter Bunny.
And if you didn't know already, Ken Urker only came back into her life when the cameras were there, a book deal was there. She had already been on a press tour within 7 days of being released on December 28th of 2023. By January 5th of 2024, she had done 5 different major interviews in New York City, including The View. But that's dying down, and now she's desperate for that same level of attention, that same 5 seconds of fame, and for that same kind of money making she once saw. And remember, this all came off the back of her ride or dies. Dee Dee Blanchard, her mama, and Nicholas Godejohn, her long-term boyfriend.
This is her depiction of the murder. Can you just give me about 20 seconds on that?
Yeah, so this was a picture that she drew during her Impact of Crime on Victims class, really asking these inmates to reflect on what they did and how it affected others. And if you look closely at it, you can see some symbolism in there. Inside the picture frame, that's the home that Habitat for Humanity built for them. That's her hand breaking the glass, signifying all the destruction that she and her family created on the world around them. If you really look closely at that hammer, Ashley, you could see the name Nicholas, because she recognizes that her co-conspirator, Nick, was just a tool that she used to, commit that crime. So it's really about taking accountability.
You let me know your comments down in the comment section, and I try to get to every single one of them and respond to them. But let me know what you think about this kids app and her soliciting children. Also, do you really think that the 2 fingers Ken was holding was a symbol of something? And if you liked my video and enjoyed it, please don't forget to subscribe, like, turn on notifications, and share.